Currently, I'm based in London. I am working as a full-time professional principal architect for the MNCs. And a little bit about my background. I have around 14 plus years of experience into the data center and security and other domains. Predominantly, I'm working into the data center technology alongside with the cybersecurity part. And since 2016, I have been into the training. So first, I started with the Networkers Home as a technical trainer in the Bangalore. Then I, assist to the multiple, training institute across the India, and I'm currently associated with the GuiNet, taking the CCNP and other batches for them. So my little bit of my credentials, I am dual CCI. 2016, 17, I have cleared my first CCI data center. Then I did the CCI security. I also in 2021 I have cleared the CCDE part, the designing expert. As long in 2023 I have done the CISSP. This is about my background, and if you talk about the CCNP data center, for how long I have been taking the classes and going through all these domains. So it's been 2017. I started only data center trainer first, which I predominantly teach alongside with the CCNP security. Anyone, any questions before I move forward? What we are going to discuss, what we are going to get from the CCNP data center curriculum? If not, so let's start with the data center. What is the data center? Let's start. Why do we need a data center? So data center, it doesn't matter how, let's start with saying that data center. So data center, very first prerequisite, you must know the basic of the routing and switching. That's the first prerequisite of the data center. Do not take data center as a like starter for codes. Okay, you can probably start CC and NA data center. That's a different part of it. But if you're joining the CCNP data center, you must know the basic of the routing switching, especially the switching part. The second part is, what is the data center? Why do we need a data center in the organization? Why not any other? If we have enterprise, if we have a campus network, why do we need data center? So data center mainly focus on the deploying your critical application into the centralized locations. Okay, suppose for example, if you have this is the India, okay, and in India you are using the google.com, google.com, right? And in India you have around 1 billion users, including that mobile and laptop and traditional and non-traditional users. If you have that kind of scenario, then you need a centralized location where you should keep that servers into your centralized location. So anywhere, wherever you host the critical application, and just give me a second, applications and database bases. Wherever you host that your critical applications and the databases, that place we call as a data center. Data center doesn't mean it only hosts the data. It hosts the application as well as the database as well. And because normally when you have a campus network, small organizations, suppose for example, if you enter to the any campus network. When I say the campus network, when you go to the office, that office known as a campus network, where we usually deploy that Wi-Fi and other stuff. That is the call it campus network. In the campus network, we do not deploy that critical application and database. The reason is these applications and database require the dedicated infrastructure. They require the dedicated physical and the network level better security. They require the lot of energies for the running these applications. They require a lot of other things which is very hard to get into the campus network. That's why we dedicated few locations known as the data center locations. So in India, the main data center locations are Mumbai. We have Hyderabad. We have Chennai. We have Andhra Pradesh. We have Pune. We have Gurugram. Also, nowadays, people are shifting into the what we call that Assam. Okay, these are the main data center locations we have. Point of presence, we call that in our India. Point of presence for any customer. So when you purchase any services, people say that where is your point of presence? Where is your service provider is extending your connections? That we call that point of presence as a data center locations. If we see that how many data centers India operating, it is around 250 plus data center, 250 plus data centers India is operating. What is the future of the data center technology and how much we are going to expect, how much expansion of these data centers? So 250 data center is small and large. Where we have a 30% you can include as a large data center, remaining are small data centers. If India want to be the developed country by 2047, India need minimum 1000 plus data center. If you see that recently the government has announced that anyone who going to build the data center in India going to get the tax rebate, right? That's where we are going to get a lot of data center hype in India. When I say the hype, the technology going to be the almost same. These data center won't be the traditional data centers because no one going to spend billions of dollars to build the data center because data center is not cheap. Minimum data center cost is a $5 million. This is the minimum data center cost. Running that one building, many organizations nowadays they are leasing the data centers. Even the just like other countries, we have situations where few companies are there who create the data center and lease the small player in the industries. Just like a cloud, you can say that. Well, cloud is what? Cloud is a data center where you lease the services from one portal. So in India, we have a lot of cloud data centers. Even they are expanding those connectivity and they are expanding their services across the India. So if I check here, uh, data center in India. Look here. Yeah, look here. These are the data centers we have. Total Kolkata has, this include the major and minor both. I would say the major is Bombay, if you see that here. The Chennai, these are the major one. Even Hyderabad is the major one. Wherever you see the 2-digit number. These are the major data center. Mostly you will find the major data center in the coastal city of the India. Why coastal city? Because the connectivity between the countries is required for data centers to provide the global services. That's the reason you will see the lot of data centers, uh, you know, beside the coastal cities. Okay, if we check for the any other countries, the most data center operator in the world is the United States. Okay, United States has around 4,000 data centers, 4,000 plus, I would say that. Okay, then come to the Canada. Canada has around 300 data centers. Come to the Australia. Australia has around 300. China is not behind very much. They are touching around 400. Even Japan has around 300 data centers. So if India really want to be the superpower, then India need to expand. If it's currently 275 data centers, small and large and medium. If India really want to be the superpower, it has to be in the first top 5 of the data center operator. Okay, in order to achieve that, there we need resources, we need a lot of manpower, we need a lot of hardware, we need a lot of engineers to run these data centers. Okay, in India currently data center skill is very less. Data center is not just about the configuring the devices. No, what data center ecospace create to in order to host that application and database, you need to be the physical. Just give me a second. Physical operator. You need to have operator. You need to have hardware companies who can provide you the data center hardware. Not all the companies are the provider of the data center hardware. Very few are there. The leader one is the Cisco, Aruba, Arista. These are the top 2, 3 leader of the data center provider, which provides the scalability with the reliability hardware, right? Then you have ISPs. Then you have service providers. Then you have around 100 plus things make one data center ready. So when you say that I'm going to be the data center, predominantly you categorize if you're technical, you categorize 3 parts: L1, L2, L3, then you go for the L4 to L7 set operator.
आपण क्लास बघूया आपण.
Sorry.
तुला 4 वेळा फोन केला तुम्ही उचलला नाही. कोण होतं तुझ्या बरोबर? एकटी गेली?
Can you please mute yourself, please? All right. When you say that, what level of job available in India? Okay, these are the level of job available into the India. L1 job is still valid. L2 job and L3 job, they are going to be the combined now because L2 job currently is treated separately. But in future, based on the technology, based on the artificial intelligence enhancement which currently going on, L1 after L1, people need to be ready for the L3. There is no requirement of the L2. Even some extent L1 also, except that physical and other stuff. L4 and 7, the people who design, who provide the solution for the for the organizations. Now, if we talk about that, what data center technology evolving? So data center is categorized into 3 categories. Okay. Just this is the okay. Let's categorize data center into 3 categories. Generation wise. Okay. When I say the data center, when data center started, data center 1.0 was a 3-tier architecture. DC 1.0. It was 3-tier, not even 3-tier. I would say that the limited bandwidth was available, limited services were available. It was too expensive. It was too expensive to operate the data center. And we have a limited architecture to scale. There was the first data generation of the data center. Then the second generation of the data center, DC, you can see the 2.0. People came with the plan saying that I'm going to have a 3-tier architecture. The limitation of the 3-tier architecture was L2 segmentation. We have scalability. We have issue with the capex. We have issue with the opex. When I say the capex and opex, operating cost and the hardware purchasing cost. Okay, because if you want to operate 3-tier architecture, you have to spend a lot of money. When you have deployed 100+ devices, due to the monolithic way of operating the data centers and due to the nature of the architecture, you needed to have a lot of resources into the organization in order to achieve that or to make that continuous running those data centers. Okay, these were the main issue when we have a 3-tier architecture. When you come to the generation 3 data center, people realize that 3-tier architecture is not the scalable and reliable solution. Even we need because the more people evolve into the application layer, your data center should be more evolving than the application layer. If application layer says that currently I'm operating the 1 gigabit app, in future, if that application layer says that I need to have a low latency, I need to have a more bandwidth, I need to be the more scalable for me, then you need to be the ready first layer of your defense should be the network layer, the data center layer, where you application deploy, where you deploy the application layer. So here you have 2-tier architecture. Also, we call that leaf and spine architecture. Okay, what the issue has solved? Scalability. Then you have capex has reduced, opex has reduced. Also, it provides the mobility, free IP mobility. Because it can extend across the multiple data center as an activity. Till 2.0 version of the data center is very hard. It was very hard to achieve that active data center services if you plan to have a more than one data center across the multiple locations. If you want to have a two different locations as an active, you cannot activate same service across the two data center with the same IP address. That was the biggest challenge we had into the layer 2 segment level into the data center 2.0. Then VXLAN based data center came in the picture, which has resolved the IP mobility problem which industry was facing. And also it has provided the more reliability was another aspect of the thing which was achieved into 3.x version of the data center. The advantage was here multi-billion packet per second was achieved. Now, what does it mean by the multi-billion packet per seconds? Because in 3.x data center, industry has introduced the SDN, software-defined networking, where these devices were capable to handle the multi-billion packet per second within a fraction of a microseconds. But was it enough to operate this data center? Answer is no. So industry is moving, it's not fully fledged operating, but industry is moving into the generation 4th of data center. Generation 4 of the data center, 4.0, where people need to be the zero touch, zero trust, security, zero downtime they require. Also, they require to have a auto healing feature. These are the main focus into the data center. Plus, this data center must be the ultra low latency. We had the ultra low latency into the 3.0 data center, but ultra low latency into 3.0 data center was not enough to operate their AI applications. When you have AI applications, what are the main thing of AI applications? You need to have a data center which can run the two applications in the microservices level. Okay, when you have a microservices level, lot of network bandwidth and low latency is required. You will have LLM, large language model, when you have an AI app. For example, ChatGPT. When you have LLM AI kind of applications, you need infrastructure in between the source and destinations, applications and database to have an ultra low latency. Because the moment you ask ChatGPT, write me the 5 paragraph relation. AI will request the server in a million billion packets per second, and same thousands and millions of users are requesting the same information from the same server's LLM. If the millions and billions of users are requesting the same information from the database, then what is the main thing coming in the picture? The underlay. Who is the underlay? Our data center. In order to operate this data center and applications, you need to have a very good and top class hardware with the zero touch model. It means if there is anything which you want to deploy or remove, it should not cause too much hurdle for you without too much human intervention, because currently 60-70% of the outage happen in the industry because of the human error. So data center, enterprise and data center, people want to reduce that footprint which was causing the issue due to the human intervention. So zero trust, plus people need to have a zero trust security model in each data center, because currently in 3.x data center, we manually deploy the zero trust model. It means we deploy the firewall, we deploy the WAF, we deploy the load balancer, SSL inspector, a lot of other things, TMG stack, we make it. But in data center 4.x, few things must be the already integrated with the infrastructure alongside with the zero trust model. Those devices must be supporting these parameters, then only 4.0 data center you can achieve it. Because the nature of the devices, nature of the role of the devices has been changed. Before, data center was required 100 Gbps interface. Now, in LLM kind of scenario, AI driven data center required to have a minimum 400 to 800 gigabit capacity hardware, because the GPU based hardwares are really cannot operate into the traditional protocol in the traditional hardware. When I say the hardware also work with the protocol for communications. Even your BGP OSPF cannot operate the GPU based hardware for the AI infrastructure. That's why if you heard a lot of about the AI data center people are building. Even Geo is building AI infrastructure. Why they are building the separate data center for AI? Because they cannot operate 100 gigabit interface with the AI driven model. No, you need to have a minimum to 4 to 800 gigabit interface in order to host these servers, AI driven servers, plus ultra low latency. Plus, you cannot run these protocols, legacy protocols, into the data centers. So what going to be our syllabus? What we are going to cover? These are the three generations of the data center. We're gonna spend 5% of the time here, 5% time of the here. We're gonna spend 60% of time here, because 90% of the customer is still using the data center 3.0, such as Cisco ACI and other stuff. However, people are moving the AI-driven data center. We are going to cover 40% of the time into the AI data center with the new devices which you have not even heard of as of now. Okay, so in CCNP data center, we have two types of exam. Okay, this is the CCNP data center. CCNP DC. The very first thing is concentrate exam. When you say the concentrate exam, it's just like a basic CCNA level. If we open the Cisco site, yeah, look here, concentrate exam. Concentration exam is what you can, in order to achieve the CCNP, the very first thing is you have to attempt one concentration exam plus one core exam. Then before, this was not the case before. Now Cisco has changed their operating model. You have to attempt two exams in order to achieve the CCNP. One concentrate exam, one core exam, and there is only one core. Okay, there are a lot of concentrate exam. DCID, we have infrastructure, we have IT, we have ACI, we have automation, we have AI. This is the new model which Cisco has introduced. First test is about to start from 9th of Feb. So this is the syllabus I'm going to include in our CCNP data center. No one in the currently in the training is including AI-driven infrastructure data center. We have all the required hardware and the labs, which will be providing us all the AI-driven and the GPU-based compute to operate and learn it. Okay, so this is special going to be part of our syllabus in a concentrate exam. Okay, when I say the concentrate exam, we are not going to miss any of them. Okay, we are going to cover all of them. Could you please mute yourself, please? Okay, so if I say these many concentrate exam we have, all of them will be covered part of the CCNP. We are not going to cover just one. Okay, we are going to cover the infrastructure. We are going to cover the ACI, automation, AI, as well as the core. So this class going to be the CCI level, not just for the CCNP or CCNA level. Okay, so if you are going to join this class, make sure that you prepare for the deep dive of the class. This will include the exam preparation. We are not going to cover a special topic to cover the exam. Okay, just to make sure that we are going to cover the topic with the theoretical, more of 60% going to be the lab, 40% going to be the theory part, because I believe that it doesn't matter how much theory you learn it, until unless you do the practice, you will not be able to achieve what you want to achieve. Okay, so our class going to be the pure 60% lab based class, 40% class going to be the theory class. Okay,
Sir,
any
sorry
questions?
for interview. Can
Yeah.
you repeat it again? How many practicals will be happening in a deal?
Okay,
This,
so
duration?
total in a CCNP, because CCNP is what CCI level so preparation. Okay, so we are going to have a 40% theory. We are going to have a 60% of our classes as a lab class. Okay, because whatever we are going to discuss in a theory, we are going to achieve into the lab. That's what I believe. In the industry, if you do not have the hands-on experience, you cannot work in a new technology, because new technologies, why 60%? Before I was taking 40 and 50%. Why I changed that matter? Because 90% of the things now moving into the what? UI basis, graphical interface basis. So if you do not do the practice, unlike the router switches where you just copy paste the command and boom, everything can work, right? Here, if you do not do the practice for the graphical interface basis, you can get confused. Okay, and these things takes time to learn. So this only can be achieved only via the practical. Okay, now is there any other questions before I move forward? All right, taking as a no. So what we are going to
Sorry, hello.
yeah.
Yes, is it going to be on devices, or is it working on simulations all the time?
We have virtual labs, because these data centers, no one can get the data center hardware infrastructure except the CCI lab preparation things. Okay, because the data center cost millions of dollars if you want to purchase a one Nexus hardware, and after a few months or a year, they will be end of life, end of sale. So same things, all the hardware features we are going to enable into our simulation. Okay, with the data plane and control plane.
How
Sorry.
we are simulating?
Yes, Rahul, you're breaking. Hello. No, I cannot hear you. Right. So what we are going to have, you're breaking, Rahul. I cannot hear you properly.
Yeah, I'm telling you about the lab. How we
Yeah.
will get to access and what are the prerequisites for get to access the lab and etc. That like
Yeah.
how
So
we
for
will.
lab, we have a dedicated lab which admin going to assign the each port for the each member. Okay, we have a virtual lab which has been built in within our institute.
Sorry, just let me add here. So Rahul and everyone, probably once sir is going to start this lab practicals. So you all are going to get like a lab. Let's suppose Nexus practice is going to happen. Then you're going to get Nexus devices access in the per port basis. For the ACI, same for the UCI, for the other UCS and all NEI, that also is going to be simulated in the real infrastructure. Kind of the same look and feel is going to happen, but it's just going to be hosted in our data center, and you all are going to get a dedicated port to just perform your labs. So don't worry about the labs. Throughout these sessions, you all will have the lab access 24/7. It's going to be accessible from anywhere. You just need the browser, means any browser and internet access, and that's you can access our labs. Sorry, sir, you can go ahead.
Yeah. I hope that clears your questions. Okay. Okay, so what we are going to have in the module, we are going to have a Nexus module where we are going to cover all the like generation 1, generation 2, generation 3, generation 4 hardware details. With the NXOS lab, we are going to have a second module is ACI. So when I say that particular module, all the topics will be covers, okay, including from layer 2 to layer 3 and layer 4 layer 7 services as well for all the modules. We are going to have a ACI. We are going to discuss ACI from 0 to advanced level. We are going to have a compute where we are going to discuss the Cisco UCS alongside with the hyperfabric. We are going to have a SAN. We are going to discuss the Cisco MDS devices alongside with the Nexus dashboard and everything. We are going to have automation where we are going to use that Ansible as well as the Postman for automation with the tool and with the Linux VM. We are going to have AI module. We are going to cover the Fab Nexus. This is the new which Cisco is yet to release. We are going to have a Fabric as a. We are going to have Nexus Hyper Fabric. Also, we call that Nexus 6000. Okay, this is the new which Cisco has introduced, and we are going to do the lab with the hardware, where we are going to learn how to enable these hardwares, how to operate this hardware from the what all the things we can achieve from this new hardware, alongside with the what protocol it supports into the AI hardware, what OS it runs, because this the more we go for the generation 4, generation 5. So in the industry, we have a new competitor of Cisco. We call that NVIDIA. NVIDIA also having their own Cisco, their own networking switches. We call that we have their own switches which support the 400 gig, 800 gig speed with the ultra low latency, with the no traditional BGP and OSPF and other protocols. So these going to be covered within our lab. So I would say that the more focus should be for the new generation CCNP and CC or data center engineer is ACI, compute, automation, and AI. We can learn about the Nexus and the SAN because I've been working into the industry for quite long. I don't think after down the line 5 years this is going to be relevant. Only 5 to 10% of the customer going to operate the Nexus. SAN, I don't think we are going to have a dedicated SAN devices in future for the infrastructure. Only 5% customer going to operate. Most of the customer currently and going forward is operating ACI. Cisco is introducing ACI with the AI, okay, where they are going to upgrade their Nexus 9000 hardware with the GPU capability. Okay, we are going to have a servers. So Cisco is not the leader of the servers. However, still we can we are going to have a look how Cisco UCS works, how we can operate and integrate. We are going to have automation. We are going to do the automation for SAN, compute, Nexus, ACI, everything. We are going to have AI. However, we are going to have another module called the Nexus dashboard. Within the Nexus dashboard, we are going to cover the NDFC, NDO, and the NDI with the lab. Okay. We are going to have this module in our CCNP. In the hardware, all the standard hardware will be covered. Whatever we are going to have in the syllabus. Okay. Any questions? Okay. For the little bit of background for the hardware level, what we are going to learn about and what we are going to discuss. You will see here, we are going to have in AI, we are going to have HyperFabric AI. We are going to learn about the NVMe. We are going to learn about NVLink, which is again Cisco collaborated with the NVIDIA for these hardware. So NVIDIA, a lot of NVIDIA reference you will see in the AI modules. Okay. AGI, we are going to discuss about the block and file level storage part. Orchestration, we are going to discuss. We are going to discuss about the management. We are going to discuss about. So these are the protocols. If you say ROC, the RDMA over coverage Ethernet. This is a protocol which is going to replace your BGP and EVPN part. I would not say EVPN, but this is the protocol which runs. So BGP, OSPF, all the traditional layer 2, layer 3 protocols run CPU base. Okay. The moment you have a GPU, these protocols are going to be irrelevant. So what protocol we are going to run? We are going to have by default ROCE. This is the protocol which communicate between the GPU to GPU interfaces, not into the VNIC or something like that. Okay. So this we are going to, however, this protocol I will try to showcase this protocol details into the NVIDIA as well, if possible. I do have a lab for that. Okay, so yeah, this is the syllabus. Going to be any questions, anyone alongside with, I missed that, alongside with the security. When I call the security will be it's not just about the just give me a second. Not just about the basic security. We are going to talk about the access list. We are going to talk about the authentication. Yeah.
The ACI multi-pod practicals last time we were not able to do on the
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So ACI multi-port is
Mhm.
not possible in the lab. Okay.
Mhm.
We can ACI multi-site is possible. Okay. Multi-site. And that
Yes.
is the future. That is the future. Multi-port, very rare customer uses. If anyone is using multi-port, it's not the very great solution, I would say that. I can show the some use cases. I do have did recorded some of the stuff for the multi-port with the real lab, because multi-port require the some different kind of setup with the single APIC should operate all the data centers, which is if customer is asking from Cisco, with my experience, 80 to 90% of the solutions Cisco sells is a multi-site, which we cover with the lab. Okay, with the multi-port scenario,
Mhm.
unfortunately, we require the physical hardware with the 2-3 data center to operate. Okay, because multi-port is not possible with our anyhow. We have to look for the separate hardware. Then we have to, because due to the nature of the design. Okay. Other than that,
Understood.
have all the topics which covered by the covered by the lab.
Okay. And some of the part of automation which was you showed it on D Cloud, which we don't
Yeah.
have access to.
So currently we are building our in-house automation tool. Okay. We are building the in-house VMs and we have all the labs. We are going to deploy one of our Linux box. Okay. Linux. Sorry for spelling, and the window. We are going to install that VM. where you can have a postman. Okay, we are building in-house. So sooner all the new classes will have 24/7 access for this one. We have a postman alongside with the NCR. Okay, so we are about to achieve this scenario where we are going to integrate these tools with all the our possible labs which we have with the the configuration guide. We are not going to rely on any dcloud, any other sources, because many students who have not access of these labs, they cannot do that. Okay. In how, if we talk about the, just give me a second, the lab for ACI, we do have a ACI lab, 6. Latest version of the Cisco ACI, where we are going to, just give me a second, guys. Where we are going to, provide the same access to all the students. Okay, so this is the in-house our lab. We are going to have, just like a Cisco, whatever you access dcloud, any other tools which you can possibly access. Okay, this is going to be 24/7 alongside with the Nexus lab. Okay. Any questions before we conclude our demo sessions? Any questions? Anyone who want to ask anything? If Saif, you're speaking, you are on mute. Sorry, you're not on mute. We are unable to hear you. If not, thanks for your time. We are going to conclude here. What we are going to cover into the our CCNP syllabus, what we are going to have in our roadmap. So we are, as I said, we are going to cover the most of our practical and the lab going to be the around generation 3, generation 4 of the data centers, which are currently valid and available for the customer. Do not learn about do not too much focus on the learning of VLAN. Okay, focus about learning the VXLAN. This is the new way of enhancing yourself. Do not focus of learning the OSPF traffic engineering. Yes, it is.
Sir, we are going to focus on DC 3.0 and 4.0, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We are going to also, going to test the Cisco DC 2.0 and 1.0. Not too much time on that, because those data centers technology are very few customer using. However, we are going to discuss how to migrate transit from those 3-tier to 2-tier, right? Because you already know that what is the VLAN. I do not need to explain what is the VLAN. What are the things which need to be learned is how VXLAN works. What are the multiple design options we have into the VXLAN? How we can configure VXLAN with the CLI, without the CLI, right? Because the 100% of the technology which Cisco, and not on just Cisco, other vendors are introducing, those all the fabrics into data centers are the VXLAN base. Why VXLAN base? Because VXLAN is the only protocol which is compatible with the GPU and CPU both. So that is the only advantage VXLAN going to get. The more you will spend into the new technology, learning how, new architecture, the more benefit you are going to get in your job role. Okay, all the vendors, even if you go for the Arista, if you go for the Aruba, they all are competing with the VXLAN technology. No matter how and what technology industries and vendors are coming with, they all are VXLAN based technologies. Even AI based, all the hardwares they have replaced everything except the VXLAN concept. So people are people are in the industry are introducing zero touch architecture, zero touch configuration, zero touch model. Everything is zero. Just like in traditional way of doing it, we used to build the SD-WAN, right? What is the SD-WAN components we are going to we get in our general? We get the control plane, data plane, management plane, orchestrator, right? Now, if you learn about those technologies, good. Okay, let me give you the one instance how technologies are changing. What is what things should be changing in our learning pattern? Okay, do not learn about what everyone says that. For example, let's take about SD-WAN. What was the component we for any vendor? We had a control plane, we had a data plane or H, we call that. We had a orchestrator, we had a manager for management. Now, this is the traditional way of operating the SD-WAN. Now people are moving towards the SASE, okay, and SSH devices. What you have to do here is vendor saying, I am going to manage all your control plane, orchestrator, and manager. You do not have to worry about anything. Vendor, you just have to deploy the data plane, one device, one box, and provide the connectivity to the vendor, unlocking the vendor portal, and you operate everything. Look here how things are changing. So industry in a vendor point of view, they are still operating behind the scene all the control plane, data plane, orchestrator. However, for the end user point of view, they are saying that you do not have to worry about deploying of these all the components. You just deploy the one hardware or the virtual instance of it. In upcoming 5 to 10 year, people are going to move from hardware to the VM based deployment. The way the requirement and the few things are changing. Okay, so technology is not changing, technology is evolving, and we have to evolve based on it. Okay, IPsec will be still same, protocol will be still same, the way of implementing, the way of new architecture is working, we have to cope up with that. Okay, and what all the new things we are going to learn, especially the nowadays, whatever hardware and software you create and deploy or purchase, they all are application aware. You can have the industry moving towards the proactive base things. So what we had here is we have three categories, right? Reactive and proactive and day two operation model. These are the three models we have. Before we had a day two operation model where if any issue happened, people manually manually call the people, there is a issue and you need to troubleshoot and takes. That's why we had a 4 hours, 3 hours SLAs type, right? Then people shift into the reactive mode. It means people have integrated their tools and applications, and which can suppose, for example, ServiceNow and other tools, who can immediately, the moment you have any issue, the application immediately detect and send you the message saying that there is an issue, you need to fix it. Okay, this is the reactive mode, which currently 90% of the customer uses that because the cheaper plus is better model for them. Now people are moving towards the reactive mode because the AI driven model, if you have an AI application and the user behavior, if you any application is not working, you have a choices nowadays. So customer cannot afford to hamper any user experience. So that's why people are moving towards the proactive based system where predictability matters. And predictability, if any customer having a predictability of their data center, of their infrastructure, they can enhance, they can react, they can predict that okay, this is going to happen and this is what outcome of this, and this is how we can reduce that impact or whatever it is going on. For example, if you want to upgrade, if you already know that there is going to be upgrade in the infrastructure, this is going to be impacting, so you can already communicate with the customer, so they can at least not be in panic mode. This is we call the proactive based the infrastructure. Industry is moving towards the proactive-based infrastructure. This is what we have to learn about it. There are applications, obviously they are expensive, but there are hundreds of applications from each vendor. For example, Nexus Dashboard Inside, it provides the live reports. If you execute any changes, it predict that this is going to be impact for you. This is going to change the scenario. All these applications, there are not just Cisco. There are many vendors who provides the proactive based services. It costs a lot, but it provides you the safe haven for the vendor, for the provider, right? This is the technology evolving. So as I said, tools are same. The way of operating, the way of why proactive based and how this is working, because in underlay we were using the Linux in a reactive basing. Here we are using the AI based model, LLM based model. So the data, based on the data, application is predicting that it going to happen, what going to be happening in upcoming 1 hours, 10 days, 5 days, something like that, right? So this is what I have to learn it, right? We do not have to worry about LLM, how LLM is working. We do not have to learn about AIs. No. What is our domain? Learn about the proactive based tools. How the inside it is building, it's none of our business. We are not the software engineer. We are not going to be the business developer engineer over here. We are going to simply learn how proactive tools works, how we should be reacting it, how we should be deploying these tools, how integration works. This is what domain should be looks like and this going to be the happen in future, because currently many customers are preferred to go with the proactive based tools. Okay, people are simplifying their infrastructure. They are not complicating things which were there five year back. Okay, any questions? Anyone who having any doubt? Anyone who want to ask anything, discuss anything? If not, I'm going to stop here session. If anyone having a questions or anyone want to ask, yes, it is.
Yeah. What are what the timings for this course?
Timing, admin can decide based on your guys' availability. It's not fixed. This can be weekend, this can be weekdays also, based on the availability of the candidates.
Okay. So, yeah.
So Sandesh, as of now, like the tentative time is 8 to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday. Okay. This is what we have decided, but you guys also let us know your availability, right? If anyone having time concern, so we are very flexible. We try to accommodate all of them, okay, as per the time slots.
Okay.
All right. So in case if anyone have any questions, any doubt, sir, can you make me the host? Let me put the
Sure.
support team numbers in chat so they can just directly. Yeah. So I'm putting one of the support team number. You guys can call and WhatsApp on this number, and somebody can from support team is definitely going to talk and like give the any kind of the issue if you're facing any challenge, so they can support you. All right. Abhishek, you have any questions you want to ask?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, Vijay sir. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for your time, and thank you so much everyone for your time.